All right, this is video 3 of the Land Cruiser build, and today we're doing the roof rack. And it's about 100 degrees in Southern California. We're having a heat wave early in the year. So you're definitely going to want to have your power tools. And here she is, the Prinsu Roof Rack. Opens up pretty easy. Once you get the straps off, just opens right up. Now I'm going to put this in the shade because the black pieces will absorb that heat. And there's a loud diesel. Yep, my daughter. Big loud diesel truck coming home from school. There she is. That's the 61. That's an HJ61. So that one is got full bars. Sorry, I know I'm diverting. She just came home. So that one has Contreras front bumper, rear bumper, roof rack, and sliders. It's an outfit in Tijuana, Mexico. But don't think it's cheap because you go to Tijuana. It's expensive stuff. I think all that gear on that truck, hey honey, is about 7G. And what's cool is, let's see if we can zoom in here. When you look at the roof rack, it goes with the profile. So that's a high roof that they did only in the 61. So the US 60 and 62s never got that, but the Japanese 61s got that high roof. I'm not a big fan of the high roof, but once you put that bar on it, you see how it tapers off so it makes it all level? It looks pretty darn awesome. But I'll put in the description a video for this truck, like a 360 walk around. But okay, back to the task at hand. Is putting this roof rack in this blazing heat, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, I'm gonna unpack all this, I'll lay it out, and I'm gonna show you a trick, something you wanna do before you put it on that'll just take about 10 minutes, but it will keep it clean for the long term. All right, hold up. Okay, so there's actually one of the aluminum bars is not black. I think that's for the basket. So that's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that. But there it all is. Pretty straightforward. So I think in the basic pack you get 8 bars. There's 9 there because one of them sits on the back side of the front air dam or spoiler or whatever you want to call that. And here's what I'm going to do. You see this same ceramic spray I use on my vehicles after every wash. I'm just going to wipe them down real quick, just get rid of all the dust, and at the same time I'm going to put a good ceramic coat so dust, dirt should wash off a little easier. And whenever I detail my car, at least on the outside, maybe if I step up on the tire and get to the roof, I'll wipe down these pieces because the dirt and dust can collect in these over time. All right, but this is my second Prinsu I have put on. The trick is to take one of these and 2 bars so that you put it on the roof of your truck. Make sure you put like a little blanket or something to protect against scratching. Then you go to the other side with the other rail piece and then bolt it in. And then from there you can just put piece by piece in. Pretty straightforward and simple. I would say first time, 1 person, hour and a quarter. 2 people, 50 minutes. And once you've done it before, maybe a little quicker. But anyways, it's all the labor of love. It's fun. Fun. They even give you a couple stickers. And there's my tool packages. All right. And that's the basket. And I did get, I don't have it here. It's up, up by my house. But I also have a power load panel. Or accessory load panel. So let's get it going and you'll see what that load panel is, and that little power tool is going to make life easy. All right, everything has been wiped down with my ceramic, and I laid out all my pieces, got everything here. What's interesting in the manual, oh, and by the way, I've got an older Prinsu bar, and these look like a nice little stainless upgrade compared to the old ones. I'll try to find one of my old ones off the other rack and compare. But on Otis, that Prinsu actually came off another 80 series, and I put it on this one. So I didn't disassemble absolutely everything. I left, when I took it off, I had one of the side rails with 2 crossbars. So what they tell you in their instruction guide, which you could follow that if you prefer, is you construct this all on the ground and then 2 people put it onto the vehicle. However, there's an angle to those rain gutters. I prefer to actually take one side, put 2 crossbars, put that up on the truck with a towel on the truck, and then put the other side rail and put in those bars and just make sure that all fits and is tight, and rock it back and forth to make sure you know, the whole side rail is good. Then I'll go put in 1 bar at a time. I'll slide the bar down, and then once everything's in, then I'll tighten. That's my preference. So I'll show you when I put the first rail and 2 crossbars up there, and then do it as accordingly. And what's interesting, my other Prinsu did not have a silver anodized crossbar, so I kind of like that. I might save that for my basket, so it's up top and you see this big silver bar. I might leave it, and then if I don't like the look of it, I'll just switch it out with one of the black bars, or eventually just the wind deflector, put it. But that bar here is supposed to go with the wind deflector. So I've got 9 bars, wind deflector. Reason why I got 9 bars is because one of them is for the basket, but I'm going to use that for the basket and use whatever was for the basket for this bar. And for me, the reason being is I got those silver aluminum polished side rails. So I think that piece of aluminum in the back could actually be pretty cool. Kind of go with the truck's design. We'll see. Final rendering coming up. Okay, so for the wind deflector, what they suggest is you already put the hardware on the deflector itself, and then you slide the trusses through. What I did is I basically lined it up like so. So that lines up, and I lay it down because I don't want to slide it and scratch, because one day I could put this, if this gets really damaged on the outside, I could put it on the reverse, but I don't want to have it scratched. Then I got this little tool. You could even use a toothpick just to make sure they're all lined up. And then, as you can see, I'm going to put my screws down with the washer through here. So I'm going to try that now. I just can't hold the camera at the same time. And that method worked like a charm. So if you think about it, I didn't slide it all the way down by pre-screwing these on and keeping them loose. I just lined it up. Yes, I had to use this a couple times. You know, the first one took me a while. Well, a while. It took me 30 seconds, and then I got pretty quick as I just lined them up and I finger tightened them. I will tighten them with another tool here in just a moment, but that way the underside didn't get scratched, because the edges of the bars, they're sharp. They can scratch the beautiful powder coating finish on this. So voila. And probably takes just as much time. In this way, you know that the other side of your bar is clean, because if you got a sunroof, guess what, you will be able to see that if you know, you open up your sunroof and look up. All right, that part's done. On to putting on the all the mounting pieces onto my side rail bars. And make sure you keep your box, because you could see it makes for a great surface, you know, so you're not on the grass losing washers and nuts and bolts. And that way it's up, mounted, and I'm not going to scratch anything, even on the inside. As you can tell, I don't like scratch stuff. I like to keep it as clean as possible. So I will mount it like that for each one of them. And your bags here, I don't know if you can see that, but it is written on there. That's for the cross bars. And this one is the mounting hardware. So it says it right on the bags themselves. So it's pretty well organized, pretty straightforward. Okay, and just a quick little demo of what I'm doing. It's pretty easy. Taking these, well, actually, I need my bracket first. So drop in a bracket, put each one of these down. All four. Take the nut, hand tighten on the other side, and having it hang off the actual Prinsu box it all came in, making life easy. And because these are locking nuts, you're only going to be able to put it on by hand a few turns, right? And if you don't have one of these already, Milwaukee or whatever, with a great little tool pack, you happen to have the right tools in there. Take this one. And voila, just got to do that 4 times each side. So just finished the other side rail. So far so good. And I got to tell you something, this is, if you're not a wrencher, you're not doing a lot of work on your vehicle, I get it, not everybody can put in a suspension, but this is definitely a do-it-yourself. Don't send it to a shop, it's going to charge you. Do it yourself, and the money you're saving from a shop, go get yourself these tools. You'll love it when you got the right equipment. You're gonna love, I just love this little box here that's got all the different popular bits that you're gonna need. So, you know, I install it a little bit different than what they suggest just because of my past experience. I actually didn't look at the instructions when I took it off of 180 and then put it onto this one. I basically looked at it, took off most bars and put on one side like you're about to see how I'm gonna do it here. So now, time to do the bars. Okay, I got the first side up and good Lord, it's already looking amazing. So you can see I put a bed sheet up there. I got my step stool ready, and the reason why I put 2 bars is because I carry it by those 2 bars. I don't even touch the side rail as I'm carrying it. So I have like one hand here, one hand there, lift it up, place it, and voila. So those bars are going across. I know that this is right in the sweet spot. You know, I have the advantage of looking at my other cruiser, but I also know it just has to sit real nice and snug, and this comes almost all the way back. So as you tighten it down, there'll be some flex. But next step I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a couple, probably 2, one here and one in the front. Then I'm gonna get the bar on the other side and then tighten down those 2 bars and not go all the way tight. And same thing, put 2 of the mounts down and then come back, kind of wiggle around, make sure it's nice and you know, in a good position, and put the other 2 on the other side. So I do have that sunroof cover to clear, but I think by having it here, that's plenty. And that looks right in line with my other Land Cruiser. Yeah, maybe slightly back. But yeah, and that way you can do it as a one-man show. You don't need 2 people. And you know what? I'll tell you something. When you're putting the bars up and you can just screw it from a stance, you know, or have your step stool, that's a hell of a lot easier. Unless you got a big work table, it's a lot easier than doing it on the ground on a flat surface. So to me, this is the way to go. I won't get the wife out here to help. You know, you guys all know that the wife will say, how much did this cost? And you have to say, they gave it to me. So just do it yourself. All right, but it's going great so far. And that black on black, and I'm glad I put the ceramic coat on it, is looking so good. And you know, you never know when you're doing your overland project, right? Like, are you doing it during Black Friday where you can get a sale? Probably not. You're probably doing it in the heat of the season where everything's full price. So if you're gonna get a Prinsu, I'll put a link above there right now. If you hit that link, or just send me a comment, I'll show you where you can get it 10% off any time of the year. And if you get it during a sale, maybe it's a sale plus 10%. So I'll show you my little trick when I bought my Prinsu. All right, let's get the other side up. Okay, so I have kind of finger tightened just one on each side. And just for fun, I wanted to see like, oh, where's this lining up compared to my other rig? And lo and behold, let's go take a sneak peek. Now this one's, it's under wraps. I will take it out of wraps whenever Black Mama's done and we'll compare the two. But if you take a look and you see just that panel in the middle between the two doors, it's not quite centered, it's just off a bit. And this one's dialed in, it's tightened down, it's perfect. So I think my measurements are good. So that's a good kind of measure point of where this should be on your cruiser. So let me get all the other mounts, 4 mounts on each side, kind of hand tied, wiggle it around, and then batten down the hatches. Okay, she's up, folks. It's been a long time since I did the other Prinsu because it's a little bit older. But I gotta say, when Prinsu, I bet you the 80 series is like the benchmark. Everybody's like, I want to get a Prinsu roof rack like what they had on the 80, but if they have a 100, a 200, a Tacoma, I don't know if it looks as good. I mean, they all look good, don't get me wrong. But the 80 series, this is a match made in heaven. The way this bar goes, it's just amazing. I love how the line coming up here just matches there. And same thing with the curve in the back. How the curve just comes swooping down and it keeps that same angle here. And the kind of like the bubble end, same thing as around here. So one thing, couple tips. I haven't tightened all these down, and they do give you like a weak kind of, you know, lock nut glue to put. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna roll around for about a week. I'm gonna let it settle in, you know, turning, taking corners, let it settle in. I'm gonna unscrew them and retighten them one final time with the glue. So I'll just let everything settle in. But one tip, when you're putting the bars in, I had to flip a couple. Remember, keep these on the upper because that's where you're gonna be inserting for your carriage bolts. This one is the last one that I have to flip, but all the other ones I got right. And you know, in hindsight, putting it up like this, I gotta say it's the right way to go, because if you're two people and let's say one's taller than the other, or the wife's helping and she's, you know, weak, sorry wives, you're gonna scratch here. I guarantee it. But I had this down and I only brought, you know, this didn't come up with it. I only had one side and 2 bars that I held, the 2 bars, and lay it down with the blanket. And then I did this as a last piece, and you know, it was definitely touching the roof. But I've got this here. So now I can pull all this out because you see how tight it gets right there. So I'm kind of polishing the car. But I'm going to pull that all off, and you know, on Otis, when I do the comparison of the SZJ with this diesel, I have double the bars, so it's got, you know, double in every little open space. There's an extra bar. I think I like this look on this one. I don't think it needs all those bars. It really doesn't. So let's get the towel off. Let's do a final reveal. I was left with a couple extra. Not much, but a couple extra washers and bolts from doing these. I was left with 2, and when doing these I was left with 2. So I guess they put a couple extras in there for good measure. So good for you, Prinsu. Nothing worse than doing a project and you're short a bolt or a nut or something like that. But all right, let's get the towel off and go bring it to my favorite, one of my favorite cul-de-sacs for the final reveal. Okay, now it's time for the final reveal. So stage 2, we're looking right at it, was the SLE rear bumper. To me, one of the sexiest, or if not the sexiest bumper you can put on an 80. And it's not intrusive, you're not cutting your cross member. But now let's look at stage 3 of this build and the roof rack, the Prinsu. So nice and clean in the back. I like how it's low profile, but I'll be silent. Let's just do a 360 of this. It really is beautiful. I think that Prinsu is a work of art on this truck. And again, this is the 8 bars, and I didn't put the accessories yet. So I do have a load panel, and I also have a basket, but to me that's accessories. So I'm going to put that in the final video when I add all the accessories, kind of like the accenting, that extra color that hopefully you're commenting and letting me know to go with that dark or the light green or nothing at all. But I'll tell you what, I know someone who bought a Prinsu and they said it didn't fit and they returned it, even though they liked it, and they ended up getting a different rack. And what I think is they didn't give it a chance, because the rail fit on the other side perfectly. On this side, I have to be honest, this is the side where I put this up and then screwed in, because I put the other side first with the 2 bars, and it was teeter-tottering. It wasn't all the way down here, and it wasn't all the way down here. If it was down here, it would go up on the other side, and if it was down on that side, it would go up here. So I said, So just like when you put a wheel on and you do, like, you know, your lugs like boom, boom, like this, I could do a Star of David. Same thing, I tightened down 1 bar and on each side, hand loose. Then I did another one, then I did another one. I kept working around, right? And then I started tightening them down. Again, like 1 in the front, 1 in the back, 1 in the middle, 1 in the second back, 1 in the front. And lo and behold, as I got this thing down, it fits like a glove. It's all the way down there, and it's all the way down here. And it wasn't like that at the beginning before I tightened it down. So I'm wondering, the way Prinsu says to do this on the ground and then lift it up there, I bet you would have that same rock. So once I got it in there and slowly tightened down each one with the blanket on top, protecting my roof, not 1 scratch, not even a chance of getting a scratch. I had it all covered. And then I did the wind deflector last. So I can imagine 2 people carrying this up. Are you telling me they're not gonna hit someone shorter than the other one? That would be a fight with the spouse. So do it yourself. You can do it. To me, it's a rewarding project. Like, I just look at this and I'm like, wow. Wow. You know, the front runner, it's okay, but I think this one's built for it. I mean, look, it's going right in the rail. So this is video 3, part 3 of what I think will be a 4-part. So now I got to put my hijack. I got to put a jerry can back there. Oh, I did move the sleeve built. Put it there for now. So I want to see what everybody comments, but I think the turbo is what's winning, because that's what's authentic. That's what Toyota put on, right? The sleeve built I put on, but I put it in the window, right? People put stickers in windows, but putting it on the car, because sleeve built usually they put that right down here, but a JDM, this molding is a little higher because it's an actual molding. Our US versions are just, there's nothing there, and on the LX 450 there's cladding. But yeah, accessories are coming next, including some covers for the Hella, so just to tie in, you know, a color theme to the truck, just to give it a little bit of accent, but not too much. Look at the JDM yellow fog that's in there. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but you just see the reflection of the yellow. All right, love it. And I don't want to go overboard, so it's just the accessories now, nothing overboard. And you'll see when I do my comparison video with Black Mamba here, with Otis, my 1995 FZJ, that's just done up 110%. There's a little bit of a difference, right? This one's keeping the OG original with some nice aftermarket parts, and the other one is, you know, Overlander over the top. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for the final reveal. You've come this far, you might as well see the final reveal, which I will have posted, I'm hoping, within a week. But subscribe to the channel. It's all Land Cruiser stuff. I will do a 360 on all my builds. My FJ40, which I do crawl. My Godzilla, which I'm crawling this Saturday, and I'll have a video on that. That's the HZJ73 diesel. My daughter, who's been driving, that was earlier in this video, driving, we call that Menace, the all black HJ61. So Land Cruisers, yeah. Some people have an addiction. My wife tried to get me help. I'm like, nope. Last year she said, you can only buy one a year now. So I bought one December 20th. No, December 27th. And then I bought this one we're looking at right now, January 4th. I'm like, hey, it was one a year. Just happened to be a week apart, but one was in 21, the other one was in 22. Anyways, thanks for letting me bend your ear. I hope this is giving you some ideas, but I think the most ideas you'll get is when I come out with the accents, the accessories that we'll be putting on this truck, which will be the final reveal. All right, happy trails.